week's episode of Soul Eater Not features the return of the maniacal, mad, and murderous Dr. Stein. Yes, old Frankie is back and he's trying to stitch Eternal Feather back together. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this plot twist, as I think it sort of takes away some of the impact of what we saw in last week's episode, where Shala Gorgon appeared and she forced Eternal Feather to kill herself with her weapon powers. However, thanks to the crackerjack physician skills of Dr. Stein, she is able to be brought back to life. And, you know, I did like the scene because you get to see how much of an asshole Dr. Stein is. He just completely messes with all three of the main girls, Anya, Mei, and Sugami, and he does it in a number of ways. One, he creates this fake dummy of Eternal Feather, and it's just really funny to think that he went out of his way to do this. And it's this dummy that allows its head to pop off and walk around with its hair. And what's really great about this scene is when the girls are starting to run away, Anya actually mentions that it reminds her of The Thing, which is one of my absolute favorite horror movies from the 1980s, which is actually a remake of The Thing from Another World. And the scene was just pretty goofy and awesome because it just kept going on and on with Dr. Stein constantly messing with them. You know, the first time they actually see the real body of Eternal Feather, it still has the weird, freaky Dr. Stein screw in her head, and they just immediately fall over, total goofy anime style. But it is cool because Eternal Feather is going to come back, and she does return to the dormitory where everything's all happy, la 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 la. But what is cool here is it looks like that Dr. Stein is going to be helping in the investigation into what Shala Gorgon is trying to do. I really don't know what her motivation is quite yet, aside from the fact that she's just evil. The middle of the episode is just a lot of fluffy filler comedy, and it's just seeing our main leads trying to deal with the summer heat. You get to see Eternal Feather return, and it also looks like Kim and Jacqueline are having something of a falling out, but this means nothing to the original Soul Eater fans because we know they eventually team up again. It's at the end of the episode when we actually get a little bit of development. We actually go back to the main storyline of who is Sugami going to choose to be her Meister? Is it going to be Mei? Is it going to be Anya? And I do like the fact that she is actually trying to train herself a little bit because she was sort of impressed when Soul came in and protected Maka suddenly when Eternal Feather was attacking her. And that's what she's trying to do here. However, they still try to shove in that little bit of a message down our throats about that you have to be teammates in order to work together and be strong and everything. And this is also when Sugami is given an ultimatum by Anya, which is by October 31st, Halloween, she is going to have to choose who her Meister is going to be. I love that it's actually going to be on Halloween. That's very fitting for Soul Eater, and it pretty much just shows us that when they actually get to that event, it's probably going to be really, really awesome. I really hope they go all out with all that stuff, because if there's one thing that I loved about the original Soul Eater anime series, it's all of the background art. Everything just looks like a big freaking Halloween store just exploded in your face. So, what's the rundown on this week's episode of Soul Eater Not? The animation and the artwork was pretty good throughout the most of the episode. You know, a lot of the stuff in the beginning was just really goofy and just really just standard stuff this week. Nothing too crazy. Some of the stuff at the end of the episode was kind of cool when you got to see the characters training, when you actually got to see Mei using Sugami in her halberd form for the first time, and then you also got to see Anya use it. And I did notice that they actually use her in a very different manner, where Mei uses her immense strength to take things out with, you know, just one big powerful swing, and then you have Anya, who's able to move a lot quicker and able to be a little more precise. So they both have their own special qualities to them, and while at the end of the day I'm not quite sure who Sugami is going to choose, I have a feeling there's going to be a way where she's going to be able to work with both of them, unless there's some sort of other plot twist that I'm not quite seeing, because I'm not sure what's going to happen. I'm not sure how long the series is going to be. From what I've researched, the Soul Eater Not manga series is actually coming to a close very, very soon, and the anime is not too far behind, and apparently the anime version is going to actually adapt everything and even, I think, end before the manga does, and even have the same ending. So that's pretty interesting in and of itself. But this was just an okay episode of Soul Eater Not, just a little more setup, small amounts of characterization, lots of little bits of fan servicey, goofy, fluffy filler moments. Eternal Feather coming back is sort of, you know, in the middle. I'm not quite sure how I feel about it quite yet. Dr. Stein coming back was cool. There was a little bit of humor at the beginning with Soul, so there were a lot of cool things going on in this episode, and it was an episode that started to feel a little more distinctly Soul Eater, but probably just because there were a lot of cameo scenes in it. But otherwise, check out this episode if you're following this series. You know, it's a nice follow-up to last week's episode. check out all the cameos, and there were some pretty cool scenes at the end, and the promise that Tsugumi is going to have to choose someone by Halloween is a pretty cool prospect. So check it out, guys. Decent episode, 7 out of 10 from me. If you guys saw this week's episode of Soul Eater Not, I would love to hear your thoughts about it, and you can tell me with your comments below. Who do you think Tsugumi is going to choose, Mei or Anya? And what's the deal with Shaola Gorgon? What's her big plan? Remember, guys, before you leave, make sure and hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It really helps out our videos a lot. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you can see all of our latest anime and manga reviews. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. So, I'll see you next time, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.